Chapter 27: The Abduction of the Golden Queen. Wukong's daring rescue from Mount Unicorn. As the sun rose on another day, the pilgrims, Sanzang and his disciples, found themselves on the road once more. Their path led them through a land of beauty and hardship, where the heat of the day was a constant challenge. Yet, the sight of a walled and moated city brought a sense of respite. Sanzang, ever the leader, sought to identify their destination, but it was Monkey, with his keen eyes, who spotted the apricot yellow flag atop the city wall, emblazoned with the name Purpuria. As they approached the city gates, the grandeur of the metropolis was evident. The bustling markets, the neatly dressed citizens, and the thriving businesses spoke of a place as prosperous as the Great Tang itself. However, the peculiar appearance of the pilgrims drew the attention of the locals, leading to a mix of curiosity and mockery. Guided by Sanzang's wisdom, they sought refuge in the hostel of meeting, a place designated for travelers from afar. It was here that they found temporary solace from the jeers and jests of the city's idlers. Within the hostel, the pilgrims were received by two commissioners, who, upon learning of their mission to fetch the scriptures from the western heaven, offered them lodging and sustenance. The provisions, though simple, were a welcome reprieve from their journey's hardships. Sanzang, ever mindful of his duty, set out to present their passport to the king of Purpuria. The grandeur of the palace was a sight to behold, with its towering halls and splendid terraces. The Tang priest was announced to the king, who received him with honor and curiosity. The king, intrigued by the tales of the Great Tang and its rulers, engaged Sanzang in a discussion about the history of their land. Sanzang recounted the tale of his empire, from the 3 emperors and the 5 rulers, through the ages of contention and unity, up to the reign of the House of Li and the virtuous rule of Li Shimin. However, their conversation took a turn when the king lamented the lack of wise ministers in his own kingdom who could heal him from his chronic illness. Unbeknownst to them, Monkey, ever the mischief maker, had ventured into the city and stumbled upon a royal proclamation seeking a cure for the king's ailment. With a pinch of dust and a spell, Monkey made himself invisible and spirited the proclamation away, only to find himself in a predicament when the officials discovered the missing poster in Pig's tunic. Despite Pig's protests and the ruckus it caused, the officials were adamant that the pilgrims were their only hope for the king's recovery. In the kingdom, the king was ailing, suffering from a mysterious illness that had him bedridden for years. The royal physicians were stumped. None could diagnose or cure what ailed the king. That's when our protagonist, the great sage Sun, also known as Monkey, steps into the scene. With a flair for the dramatic, Monkey boasts of his medical prowess, despite not having read a single medical text. He's got a trick up his sleeve, you see. With a flourish, Monkey plucks 3 hairs from his tail, a bit of his magic, and transforms them into golden threads, each stretching a whopping 24 feet long. These threads, he claims, will allow him to diagnose the king's condition. The eunuchs, skeptical but desperate, follow his instructions and attach the threads to the king's pulse points. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Monkey feels the pulse through the threads, his brow furrowing in concentration. He's diagnosing, all while the court holds its breath. And what does he find? The king's ailment, he declares, is a state of deep worry and anxiety, a condition he poetically dubs the pair of birds parted. The king, hearing this, is overjoyed, his spirits lifted, and he requests the medicine. Monkey retreats to prepare the cure, but not before the court officials and the Royal College of Medicine are left in awe of his diagnostic skills. They question his approach, but Monkey, with a wink, assures them that he'll choose the right medicine for the job. Back at the hostel of meeting, Monkey's companions, Pig and Friar Sand, are less than impressed with his medical show. But Monkey, ever the trickster, reveals his true intentions. He's not really planning to cure the king with medicine. He's just playing along to get what he wants. The ingredients he asks for are not for a potion, but to confuse the court physicians. As the night falls, Monkey sets to work, grinding rhubarb and croton seeds into a fine powder. But that's not all. He asks for soot from a cooking pot, claiming it's a cure-all, and even stranger, he requests horse urine, which he says will turn into a miraculous elixir. Pig, ever the skeptic, is less than thrilled about the prospect of using these ingredients, but Monkey assures him that their powers are beyond understanding. With the medicine prepared, Monkey sends it off with the officials to the king. And what a medicine it is! Black gold elixir, he calls it, to be taken with rootless water, which is simply rainwater that hasn't touched the ground. The king, desperate for a cure, follows Monkey's instructions to the letter. He takes the pills with the rainwater, and lo and behold, his illness begins to fade. The king is over the moon, his health restored, and he's ready to reward Monkey and his companions. But Monkey, ever the hero, isn't content with just curing the king. He learns of the king's missing queen, taken by the evil Star Matcher, a monstrous creature from Mount Unicorn. Without a second thought, Monkey vows to rescue her, setting the stage for a battle of epic proportions. With a leap onto his magic light, Wukong soars into the skies, his iron cudgel at the ready. He confronts the evil spirit, a vanguard warrior from Horndog Cave on Mount Unicorn, who's been causing all the chaos. The two engage in a fierce battle up in mid-air, a clash of the mortal and the immortal. Wukong, with his divine powers, emerges victorious, breaking the spirit's spear and sending him fleeing in fear. With the skies now clear, Wukong returns to the king, who's filled with gratitude. The king offers Wukong a golden goblet of wine as a token of his thanks, but before Wukong can accept, a commotion breaks out. Fire breaks out at the western gate, but Wukong, quick as a flash, uses the goblet to douse the flames with a rain of wine that smells heavenly. Now, here's where the story takes a twist. The evil spirit, humiliated and defeated, is forced to report back to his master, the great king Evil Star Matcher. But Wukong, never one to rest on his laurels, is already plotting his next move. He knows the real enemy is yet to come, and he prepares to face the Evil Star Matcher himself. The king, desperate to help, tells Wukong about the demon's lair, a journey of over 1,000 miles to the south. But Wukong, with his incredible powers, assures the king that such a distance is but a fleeting step to him. Off Wukong goes, leaping over mountains and crossing rivers with ease. He soon finds himself at the foot of a towering mountain, shrouded in mist, the very place where the evil Star Matcher resides. But Wukong, being the clever one, knows he must tread carefully. He transforms into a fire-grabbing sparrowhawk, soaring through the flames and smoke, and soon discovers the true nature of the demon's power: 3 golden bells that unleash fire, smoke, and sand. Now, here's where cunning comes into play. Wukong, disguised as Gokum, the demon's trusted subordinate, manages to trick the evil Star Matcher into giving the Golden Queen, the queen from the kingdom of Purpuria, the bells to look after. And as soon as the queen has them, Wukong, with the subtlety of a breeze, steals the bells and makes his escape. But chaos ensues as the bell's power is unleashed, and the Demon King realizes he's been duped. The cave palace is thrown into turmoil, and Wukong, in the midst of it all, transforms into a fly, evading capture and leaving the demons in utter confusion. And so, the stage is set for a final showdown. The evil Star Matcher, furious at the loss of his precious bells, prepares for war, while Wukong, with the bells in his possession, plans to put an end to the demon's reign of terror. Under the cover of night, Wukong, as nimble as a fly, infiltrated the demon's stronghold. He observed the Golden Queen in her sorrow, her tears a testament to her longing for her husband and her kingdom. Wukong, touched by her plight, revealed himself to her, not as a ghost but as the holy monk she had been longing for. He confided in her his misadventures that led to their current predicament, how his curiosity about the golden bells had led to their discovery, and how his attempt to escape had failed, forcing him to hide as a fly on the door pivot. The queen, initially terrified, was soon reassured by Wukong's transformation into a fly that alighted on her palm, a sight as delicate as a black bean on a lotus flower. Together, they devised a plan. The queen would lure the demon king to her chambers, and Wukong would disguise himself as her handmaiden, Spring Beauty, to serve them wine and wait for the perfect moment to strike. The queen, with her newfound hope, played her part flawlessly, inviting the demon king to share a drink and retire for the night. As the wine flowed and the night deepened, Wukong, in the guise of Spring Beauty, suggested singing and dancing to entertain their royal guests. The demon king, lulled into a false sense of security, indulged in the revelry, unaware of the trap closing around him. Wukong, ever the trickster, used his magic to transform his hairs into lice and fleas, driving the demon king to undress, itching and humiliated. In the chaos, Wukong, still disguised as Spring Beauty, managed to retrieve the golden bells from the demon king's waist. He replaced them with cleverly crafted replicas, all while the demon king was too distracted by the tormenting insects to notice the switch. With the bells in his possession, Wukong made his escape, using his magic to unlock the gates of the demon's lair and call out for the return of the Golden Queen. The demon's minions scrambled to secure the gates and report the disturbance to their king, but Wukong's persistence and cunning kept them on their toes throughout the night. As dawn broke, the demon king, realizing the strength of his adversary, attempted to use the golden bells against Wukong. But the tables had turned, for Wukong had the true bells, and when he rang them, the power of the elixir within them unleashed a torrent of fire, smoke, and sand, engulfing the demon and his lair. Just as the situation seemed dire, the Bodhisattva Guanyin descended from the heavens, her presence a beacon of hope and mercy. She revealed the true nature of the demon, a golden-haired hound that had escaped her care, and with a few drops from her vase of pure water, she extinguished the flames and calmed the storm. Wukong, humbled by the presence of the Bodhisattva, returned the bells to her, and she in turn restored the hound to its rightful form. The Bodhisattva explained that the hound had been acting out of a misguided sense of duty, seeking to save the king from a disaster foretold by the Buddha's mother, the Bodhisattva Morya Vidyarani. With the demon subdued and the queen freed, Wukong escorted her back to her kingdom, using his magic to transport her safely across the lands. Upon their arrival, the king and queen were reunited, their love stronger than the trials that had separated them. The true man of Ziyang, a celestial being who had foreseen the queen's plight, appeared to lift the enchantment of the poisonous barbs that had covered her body, a gift from the demon king's wedding attire. With a wave of his hand, the true man restored the queen to her former glory, and with a nod to Wukong, he departed, leaving the kingdom in awe of the divine intervention. The king, grateful for the salvation of his queen and his kingdom, showered Wukong and his companions with honor and gratitude. A grand feast was held in their honor, and as the sun set on their time in Purpuria, the king and his subjects bid them farewell, their hearts filled with hope and admiration. And so, the journey continued for son Wukong and his companions, their path illuminated by the lessons of courage, wisdom, and the power of unity. If you want to know what happened afterwards, listen to the explanation in the next installment.